Hey guys, it's Corey. I'm here with a new scrapbook process video for you. So I was inspired to do this page basically because I wanted to look at the color blue. That might seem kind of crazy because it wasn't the photo necessarily that inspired me or the story or anything else. It was a color. It's my favorite color, and more than anything, I just wanted to have my eyes be totally submerged in blue. I guess I was thinking about water or whatever, I don't know. But I decided I had to use the color blue today. So, anyhow, I then was like, okay, well, what am I going to do? So, I decided that I was going to do this scrapbook this picture from my daughter's first swim meet. So, I'm just starting it by using a stencil and then the Vicky Bouton iridescent glaze and just getting that on the page. I've only used it once before, but I hadn't used it with the stencil, but it worked perfectly. I like it, just so smooth. Put it on there. I would highly recommend trying it out, so it's really cool. And then I pulled out some watercolor paints and just my favorite blues. And what I'm going to do is just basically paint over the glaze. All these different blues, they're all really, really pretty, and I just wanted to kind of get them all on there. I'm using different sized paintbrushes also so that the brush strokes look a little bit different. The size of the stripes are a little bit different. And I'm watering the paints down pretty well. I'm using watercolor paper for this because I didn't want to have to worry about whether or not cardstock was gonna give that little bumpy, fuzzy look. So I just went ahead and used watercolor paper. And then I'm going to go back after that and put some drips on the page. I like the way that looks, even just some big ones that are just mostly water, but they dry with some color in them. It looks really cool. And see, I'm just using my favorite shades. It's kind of there's blue, teal, kind of a mint, but they all work together. It's pretty cool. I did go back in, add in just a few little stripes because there was a little bit more white than I thought I wanted. And then what I don't show on the camera is I actually went back in with some white watercolor paint and just kind of muted down some of the darker spots and added some black India ink for a few little black drops. So now these are rub-ons. They're Jane Davenport rub-ons. They look like paint swatches. And I've cut out all the blue ones, and I'm just going to arrange those also on my page. At one point I wondered if I should add a little bit of color in besides the color blue, and I did end up adding just a teeny little tiny bit of pink, and that's only because if you look really closely at the picture of my daughter, her goggles are pink, and that is really the only color other than the blue, the white, and the black. So I did end up putting that on there. So this one rub-on right here is actually going to cover up a smudge mark that I made with my India ink. You can't get that stuff off, so I am just covering it up because I didn't like the way it came out. So it's part of the reason too why I'm using these rub-ons. And these rub-ons are great because they really go over even the glaze. They just go over it so smoothly and then stick to it really well. So now these are just some vellum tape strips from Freckled Fawn. I think these are super old. I pulled all kinds of stuff out of my stash. I wasn't worried about what I was using. I'm just using up stash. I did use this piece of tape right here with the stars on it. I actually had pulled out a bunch of different star stuff and then realized this page just didn't call out stars to me. So I took that off, and I'm going to use this sticker that says Murmalicious. It's also like a vellum tape, maybe a washi type of little strip, and it's also a Jane Davenport. And then underneath it is a girl with this long flowing hair. She's probably a mermaid. You can't see her tail, but it's this long flowing hair. It looked pretty cool. So I'm just putting a few more pieces of this little washi tape stuff here and there. And there's the little bit of pink that I'm putting onto the top of the photo, and other than blue, that's really going to be pretty much the only color. So then these are pretty little studios. They're just a few little phrase stickers. One says "You got this," one says "Never give up," and the other says "Give it your best." Definitely good for a little swim meet. And then I'm going to go through all of this pretty little studio stuff. I actually end up not really using very much stuff, but it's pretty stuff to look at all the same. Did find a little bit of washi right here, and that's pretty much all I'm going to use. I did end up cutting it in half though because it was too thick. It was thicker than it looked good up there, so I just cut it in half. So then I also pulled out this piece of vellum that looks like notebook paper just to kind of put underneath my photo a little bit and have it stand up off the page. The photo was so blue, and then the background was so blue, and even though I have the white rim around the photo, I didn't it just didn't stand out enough, and that little piece of vellum really helped. I found a little button in my stash that says "Make it awesome," so I really like that. And then I'm gonna start adhering all of this stuff down so that I can really kind of wrap up this page. The background I felt like was definitely busy enough that I didn't need tons more embellishments, so it's going to go pretty quick after this. I did add in a little tag I just wanted to put on there. I used a stapler, and then I'm going to use these Felicity Jane alphas to put on my title. I thought I was going to use the white ones. I thought those would stand out really nicely, but I ended up not having enough letters to be able to write out my title, so I'm going to use these teal colored ones, which work out great anyhow, so I'm not worried about that at all. And then I was able to add a little bit of the white ones for my daughter's initial, and then also first. So first is in white, and then swim meet underneath is going to be in the teal. This page, it's my calm color. Blue is my calm color. I don't know if you guys have one of those, but it's my favorite. It's what I love. I would paint my entire house blue if I could. It would probably annoy my husband, but I guess I wasn't feeling really good today. I'm really tired. I'm not sleeping well, and so I guess I just needed a little bit of calm in my life. Felt like this blue was gonna help. Now, it's still kind of busy, but it's okay. I think it looks pretty. At least it calms my eyeballs, right? So I'm just going to add in just a little bit of journaling. Really all I'm doing is writing down all of the events that she had in her first meet, and I'm just doing it in little spaces between the little rub-on swatches, and then just adding a little journaling to the bottom. There's not a ton to say. It was just her first meet, and she got her first official times, and so that was really cool, and she also had a blast, which is really why she swims in the first place. She's too young to be too serious about it, and I don't really want her to be anyhow. I just want her to have a good time. So I'm just going to add in just a last couple of things. I added these two little heart paper clips to the very top, and so that they don't come off, I just do go ahead and tape down the backs. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add 3 blue enamel dots right up to the top. These enamel dots came in the March hip kits, so I'm just using those up, and I did go ahead and hot glue them down because they're going over some of the Vicki Boutin glaze, and I wanted them to stay. So that's it, guys. That's my page. If you have any questions, as always, leave them in the comments and I'll definitely get back to you. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed it, and as always too, you can find me creatively on Instagram at Corrie J Creative. Thanks so much for stopping by. Bye.